Hello, future millionaires. Welcome to Luxe Society, a place where we inspire and motivate future millionaires. Today we talk about some of the most expensive construction projects. A lot of buildings, hotels, airports, and many more are undergoing construction daily, but a few of them make it to the headlines and catch our attention. Before we start, subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on any updates. The first expensive construction on the list is the Hong Kong International Airport. In 1998, China completed the construction of one of its busiest airports. It required about $31 billion and 4 sponsors for the budget. In total, 10 contracts and took over 225 construction contracts with various companies. It required over 1,000 critical interfaces. The airport is 12.48 kilometers as a whole, and it is known as the largest one. It is built on the reclaimed land of Czech Lapkok. The international airport has about 288 check-in counters, 200 immigration counters, and over 120 shops inside. It is said that the Hong Kong International Airport is one of the most important financial contributors to the economy of China. It is now the 3rd busiest airport in the entire world. Next on the list, we have the new Suez Canal. The original Suez Canal was made back in 1869. This canal is responsible for trading to Europe and India, and the other Western Pacific countries. The original size of the canal is 198 kilometers, but due to most of the canal being quite narrow, it could not allow more than 49 cargo vessels in a day. So then Egypt decided to create one more canal adjacent to the previous one. The work of the canal started in 2014. They made a 35-kilometer long shipping lane parallel to the original one. The construction of the canal is completed in 2015. The 1-year construction cost Egypt about $9.2 billion. This addition proved to be fruitful, as it managed to reduce the waiting time of the shipping cargo. Now it is estimated that by 2023, the number of shipping cargo passing through the Suez Canal will increase to 97. By this time, the canal is to generate about $12 billion. Then we have the Channel Tunnel, which is one of the most expensive transit projects. The tunnel runs up to 50.45 kilometers and is the link between Europe and France. The project started back in 1988. Then the operation of the tunnel began in 1994. It is the longest rail-running tunnel in the world. The feature that makes this tunnel unique is that it runs under the sea. The idea of making a tunnel like this had been going around for centuries. Until 1987, the British started digging their tunnel. Then in 1988, the French also came around and started digging their tunnel. Special lasers were used along with surveying equipment to make sure the two tunnels will meet at some point. The entire project came up to $22.4 billion. Later, to honor the achievements of the civil engineers, the project was named one of the 7 wonders of the modern world. NASA carried out the Apollo program where they succeeded in preparing humans and making them successful to land on the moon. In history, they were the first humans to step on Earth. They took their first operational flight in October 1961. The entire project cost around $25.4 billion. The Apollo program created history when their first crew flight landed on 11th of October 1968. It was the Eisenhower administration's idea to conduct this program. Dubai Land is an expensive entertainment complex constructed in the United Arab Emirates. It was one of the most ambitious projects, launched in 2003. The project has cost its owner Tatweer about $64.3 billion. When the recession hit Dubai, the project was on hold until 2008. The construction began again in mid-2013. Then there was news that additional $55 billion were raised. It was to ensure that the construction of the complex is done on time. Dubai Land is expected to have an area of 287 kilometers. Currently, 22 construction projects are undergoing, and they will be dividing the complex into 6 zones. The project is still under construction, and no one knows when the gates to the complex will open. Boston's Big Dig project is another expensive tunnel project. This tunnel project officially replaced the Central Artery Road 1, as in this tunnel only accommodates 75,000 vehicles in a day. The biggest issue in it was that more than twice the cars were using it for transportation. To solve these issues, they plan to create an underground tunnel that will run up to 6 kilometers. Although the plans were underway from 1982, the construction began in 1991. They faced a lot of issues like getting environmental permits because it was close to the Boston port. There were many design flaws, cost overruns, leaks. Also, the plan was so complicated. They had a hard time figuring out about the 2 subway tracks that were in the way. They also had to take care of the soil substance. Many houses getting buried in the soil, ports were getting destroyed. It also leads to many archaeological discoveries. Then the project was done, finally, after 9 years. The estimated cost of the over-delayed project came up to $22 billion. There were rumors that for building this project, substandard material is getting used. Allegedly, it also leads to a few getting arrested. When we're talking about some of the most expensive constructions, then how can Japan remain behind? Japan is one of the most technologically advanced cities. They are known for their futuristic innovations, which they use in their daily life. The planning of this project started way back in the 1960s, and this project would not have been possible without the contribution of the engineers. It is the world's first airport built on an artificial island. The construction of this airport started in 1987. The first step was to create a strong base for artificial land. 3 whole mountains were being crushed, to the point where they could make a 30-meter layer of land out of it. It was then poured into the seabed that had a lot of heavy sand pipes. After a tremendous amount of hard work, artificial land was built. It is 4.5 kilometers long and 2.5 kilometers wide. The airport officially opened for public use in 1994. The second terminal is recently added, in 2012. It is connected to the original one through a free shuttle service, and the entire cost went up to $29 billion. The airport base is made in such a way that it is known to survive any accidents, typhoons, and earthquakes since the time it existed. There are reports that more modifications are on the way. Next is the California High-Speed Rail, whose construction started back in 2015. For the first phase, they are planning for the speed rail to run between Madeira and Bakersfield. It was one of Obama's visions to connect all the major cities of the US through the speed rail. It is said that the speed rail will also stretch between Los Angeles and San Francisco, but they will only run with those rails that will support the speed of 220 miles per hour. The first phase of the high-speed rail is expected to be completed by 2029. The speed rail has already surpassed its original budget, and the current price has reached approximately up to $98.5 billion. The Beijing-Shanghai high-speed railway train is known as the fastest passenger train in the world. The speed of this rail is 350 kilometers per hour. This train cut off half of the journey time between Beijing and Shanghai. It previously took 12 to 14 hours, which was cut short to 5 hours. In 3 years, they finished the entire rail project. The length of the railway is 1,320 kilometers. The construction contains 244 bridges, 22 long tunnels, and over 130,000 workers to finish it. The cost of the project turned out to be $40 billion. The rail was open for public use in 2011. The speed of the train is close to 350 kilometers per hour. The rail line was a smashing success. The company that built this train alone generated about $1 billion in 2015. This expensive transit project remained profitable even during the pandemic. The interstate highway system in America has proven to be one of the most expensive constructions in the history of the world. It is known to connect more than 470,000 miles, and the construction of the system took almost 35 years. They created new routes, replacing the old ones so that they could serve as interstates. The construction process started long ago in 1955 by President Dwight D. Eisenhower. Due to this project, travel for everyone has become much easier. The president had started the project so that people and the military could avoid delays during emergencies, because during those times it was vital to have emergency routes in face of war conditions. The cost of this project came up to $459 billion. Thank you so much for stopping by, and remember, your dreams will come through, just believe. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel Luxe Society. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Bye!